Guys, welcome back to part 2 of Box to Box. In part 1, we had none other than Mark Bosnich join us, and he spoke to us about Aston Villa, the season that Aston Villa have had and how they've avoided relegation, Jack Grealish, and much more. He spoke about United and Chelsea, so definitely give that a check out. This time, in part 2, we bring to you a Premier League winner, somebody who's been part of the Treble winning squad, who's been part of the team. Somebody who a lot of United fans know because he still works with MUTV in a way. None other than David May. David, thank you very much for joining us.
Pleasure. How's things?
All good. How about yourself? How's life treating you?
Yeah, not bad. Yeah. This lockdown stuff's doing me head in at the moment, but hey ho. Same for everybody. Never mind.
It is. Just want to ask how you're enjoying life since retiring from football, and how you working with MUTV. How are you enjoying life now?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's good. It's easy enough. Obviously, just when you're involved, you can talk all day long about it. So, MUTV have been good to me. The club have been fantastic. They have a great repertoire with all the ex-players. So all the players are well looked after, and obviously doing MUTV, I get to see United probably most games, working them. So yeah, it's good.
You're in a privileged position there, David. Let's talk about United then. Let's talk about the season that's just gone. Well, there's still the Europa League to play, but to the end of the Premier League season. Just give me your thoughts on how the team performed, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and sort of the effect that Bruno Fernandes has had on the team as well.
Yeah, we got to a flying start, didn't we, beating Chelsea 4-0. It seems years ago, really. It's not far off a year, actually, since we beat Chelsea 4-0 opening game of the season. But it's been, I think overall, looking back, it's been a successful season. Liverpool, City they're the benchmarks probably that we need to get to. But I think overall, third position is probably the best we could have hoped for, really. Albeit you want to be first. Manchester United coming third is not really thinkable, but right now we'll take it, and it's progress from where we've been over the last 2-3 seasons.
Let's just talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's come into the reign. He had a flying start when he first came in last season. Then things went, a bit sour towards the end of last season. Again, the start of this season, I'd say halfway through, he was still struggling to find his first 11. He was chopping and changing. There was a lot of injuries at the time. But then the second part of the season, from the time we signed Bruno Fernandes, things changed drastically. Just talk to me about how Ole's sort of grown into this role and where he's sat at this position at this present time.
Well, I think what he did last season, he came in once Jose left, and it brought freshness to the club. But I think, truthfully, the players weren't fit enough, and they ran out of steam. They were looking very, very leggy, but it's still not really an excuse. But it is what it is. But I think this season, they started ever so well. I think players are still finding the way, really, of how Ole wants to put, set the team up. And I think they lost the way a little bit, but since Bruno has come in, it's been a total revelation. He has he's brought in, I think, Paul missing as well. That's a big part as well. But I think the fact that he brought Bruno in just when we needed him, and he has set Manchester United on fire, really, because the last 10, 12 games we've been a different class. We have.
Do you think that Ole is the right man to take United back to the top?
I do. I think he has. He understands the club. I think whenever whenever you bring players in, I think the way Ollie is a player as well. When I played with him at United, he understood what it meant to play for Manchester United, and he understood the ethos of attacking football. And I think the way he's setting the team up in his own way, he'll do it his own way, which is a good thing. I think he's the right man to get us back up there. Definitely, yeah.
David, I want you to talk about a certain signing we made last summer, Harry Maguire. Massive fee, 80 million euros. You played in defence, central defence, and you played at the top with Manchester United at the same time, obviously winning the league with them and being part of a big squad. There's a lot of pressure on Harry Maguire. How do you feel like he's performed this season?
I think he's done well, considering it's his first season. I think any player that comes to Manchester United, unless you're a very, very special talent, I think the first season's always a tough season, whether you're a centre forward, midfield, or centre half goalkeeper. People don't realise that the amount of pressure that you're under playing for Manchester United. It's not just any old team. It's the biggest club in the world for me, and with that comes responsibilities. But I thought Harry's done extremely well. Yes, he has been caught out a couple of times, but all defenders get caught out every now and again, and I think that's just been highlighted. But I think if you look at his stats, we've had 26 clean sheets this year in total, which is better than what we have been doing. So we're going in the right direction, and to get the captaincy as well, I think is a leader on the pitch. You can hear that even more so now without the crowds. You can hear him, ordering the players around, which I think we needed. But I think overall, I think Harry would be pretty pleased with his first year at United.
There's actually some talk about a centre-back maybe possibly coming in. We know that him and Victor Lindelof have been the partnership for this year. Eric Bailly, he's forever struggling with injuries in and out team. Axel Tuanzebe is unfortunate for him because I thought this season he might be the season that he actually breaks through. He got injured again. Do you feel like there's a need for a centre-back at United?
I do. I spoke the other day about we have our chat every other morning on MUTV, and we all said the same thing. We would like another centre half. Not. I think, as you said, if you're touching on Eric, he has his injury worries. Phil Jones is injured again. Axel, I was really looking forward to him coming back. He's the type of player that can step in, but it's whether he gets a chance. But I think we're just a little bit light at centre half, and City looks like they're going to get Nathan Aki, but I think if he was available, obviously I think he will be available because Bournemouth have gone down. I think he'd be a great asset to the club because I think he's a very good player.
Well, talking names for the transfer window, there's been obviously Sancho, Grealish. There's a lot of talk with these players coming in. What sort of? Are these players? Sancho's looking likely that it's gonna happen. The move to United. What do you think? Pardon?
Do you know something?
Well, it's looking more and more likely that it's happening. But do you think that is these signings are what United need? Absolutely.
I think the team that's in there now has took us probably as far as what we can get to, and I think the addition of 2 or 3 more players, Sancho, wow, yes, definitely. That he's going to improve. Jack Grealish, I'm not sure whether the club are cooling their interest because of the price tag Aston Villa have put on him, but he's certainly a Manchester United player. Where he fits in, I'm not sure. Sancho can certainly fit in on the right hand side, and he can play on the left as well. But I think for United to do well next year, you need all that strength in depth as well. You know, you're not going to play every game. Marcus knows that. Martial knows that. There's only probably 3 or 4 players who will play week in, week out. So the manager can rotate, and I think those players would certainly strengthen the team. And for us to go forward, you know, we're going to have to release some players. That's just the nature of the beast. But I do think Sancho, Grealish, them are the type of players United should be going out and getting.
David, Man United's ethos is normally to bring stars from the youth, from the academy, bring them up and make them into superstars. You played alongside a lot of them with the class of the 92, you know, the Gary Nevilles, the Giggsies, Scholesy, and all these guys, the big players. At this present time, we've got Marcus Rashford, who's part of that process, but there's another name, Mason Greenwood, who's just, you know, this season just made his mark on the Premier League. I think I've spoke to a lot of fans outside Man United, and they've said that he's probably the best youngest talent that they've seen in a long time. Give me your thoughts on Mason Greenwood and how far can this kid go?
Well, I mean, he's only 18.
Yeah.
And to score, I think he's 17 goals he's got this season, and I think there's maybe 3 or 4 games if we can, you know, continue in the Europa League. It can add to that, but for a young lad to come in to do what he's done is quite remarkable. You know, the goals he's got, the way he scores goals. I'm not quite sure which is his strongest foot, whether it's left or his right. I've spoke to Wally, I spoke to Quinton about it, and they just say it's just a natural finisher with both feet. You know, he can take free kicks with his left foot, takes penalties with his right. I mean, you show me a player who can do that. Whereas what Mason Greenwood is actually the world at his feet. He really has, because he's a very, very special talent that the club, you know, are really, really excited that they've got hold of him. He's a top player, he is, and the world's his oyster, really.
What do United have to do to sort of close that gap now? To, you know, push to second and first? What needs to be done?
God, against the top teams, you know, we took points off them all. It's the other teams that we've come unstuck against. Now, whether that's mental attitude, thinking it's going to be easy, I'm not sure. But I do think that the addition of extra signings, more signings, and signings that not just come for the money. You know, you've had the Di Marias, the Falcaos, maybe Schweinsteiger to a certain extent. You know, sat on big money. Sanchez sat on big money. I think Ollie's decided that, you know, they're not the players. Yeah, they're probably very good players in their own right, but they're not hungry. And I think that's going to be Ollie's way, that he's going to bring in players that are hungry to play for the club. They want to play for Manchester United more than anything. And I think that's the right way to do it. I think the 4 or 5 signings that he's signed, every single one of them have been fantastic this season. So I think another 2 or 3 of them added to what we've got now, then we've got a good chance of closing that gap. Don't get me wrong, City and Liverpool are probably better than us at the moment. That's been proven in the Premier League. But we need to close that gap as soon as possible, because watching Knowles lift the title this season wasn't very nice.
Well, we asked Mark in the first part of the show, so I'm going to ask you as well. You obviously played with a lot of amazing players, a lot of great teammates. But I just want to ask who you think the greatest player that you ever played alongside was.
That is a question, Ali. I've been blessed. I played with Shearer at Blackburn, who was record Premier League goal scorer. That was unbelievable. And then you can reel them all off, can't you? Giggsy, Becks, Scholesy, Keane, Eric, Rude. But for me, I'm torn between 2, Scholesy and Eric. Scholesy was phenomenal. He could, Scholesy could just run games on his own, dictate the play, speed it up, slow it down, score goals, create goals. But I just thought Eric had something just special about him that I've not seen anybody in the Premier League be like what Eric was in those 2.5, 3 seasons I played with him. Phenomenal. I mean, the only half a season he missed because of what happened at Selhurst Park. But no, Eric for me was phenomenal. It really was. The way he conducted himself on and off the pitch as well. He was an unbelievable trainer. First out there, last one in. And I think a lot of the young players looked to Eric and learned a hell of a lot of the way he conducted himself in training and certainly in the games.
What was
so
he
I'd say Eric.
What was he like in the dressing room? Because he seems like a character. Even now, he does adverts. He's doing stuff for certain betting companies. Yeah. He seems quite a character. But what was he like in the dressing room?
It was a great. Do you know what people think? Everyone looks at him now and looks at him, you know, as you say, doing the adverts and doing the things on Sky and so on. But in the dressing room, it was fine. It quiet in the dressing room. Didn't really voice his opinions in the games. In the dressing room, match day, yes, but during the week, during training, he just let his feet do the talking. He loved the pint, loved going out with the lads when we had team meetings. He would always be there. And as I said to you about him being first at training, last off training, whenever the lads had a little team meeting together to go out in Manchester, he'd be first off the training pitch, getting ready to hit the ice in Manchester, having a few beers with the lads. Because I think what Eric loved is the way the English mentality was: go out, fish and chips, pie, whatever it is. He just blended in with all that. But lovely fella, great lad.
Actually, just going off that, then there's another pundit from Man United, Roy Keane, who's obviously on Sky Sports at the moment.
Yeah,
and I think Sky have put him there for a reason because he voices his opinion and more. Yeah. Was he exactly like this with you when you
absolutely
guys were together? Yeah, he's not changed at all.
No.
Brutal,
people don't realise how. Pardon?
He's brutal. He doesn't care if it's going to upset anyone.
No, he doesn't care. Ali doesn't care one bit. He doesn't, and I think why United was so successful in the 90s, early 2000s, because of Roy. His passion and his drive and his commitment to the club. The manager didn't really have to say a lot because he knew Keane would say it all in the dressing room. His demands and his standards were so high, even in training. You know, even young kids coming in, he would absolutely rip their heads off if they made mistakes in training. Yeah, they were terrified. But you know what? That's why you're successful, because you have these leaders, you have these players that get you over the line when you need them. And as much as he's vocal now in television, it was exactly the same in the dressing room, on the pitch. His standards were so high, and he is actually an absolute breath of fresh air watching him on TV. He doesn't sit on the fence. He doesn't mollycoddle anybody. He just says how he is. And that's exactly how he is day to day in training and also in games. It's great to see.
Just before we do let you go, David, quite recently, the reason why Roy Keane sort of became viral on social media was because of his, when he ousted David De Gea. When David De Gea, I think it was a mistake against, I'm not sure what recently one of the mistakes he made, and Roy Keane was just brutal. Just talk to me about David De Gea. I was supposed to ask you that, I totally forgot, but so I went past it. David De Gea's probably not had the best season. There's been a lot of mistakes that he's made. And now all he's got is predicament. Does he go with Dean Henderson, who's this young, fresh keeper, or does he stick with De Gea? What do you think should happen with the whole De Gea situation?
I think he should stick with David.
Okay.
I think he's still one of the best goalkeepers in the world. yes, he has made a couple of mistakes, you know that. But if David were playing for Brighton or for Watford or whoever, it wouldn't get highlighted as much. But because he's playing for Manchester United, obviously, you get scrutinised so much more. But the amount of times that I think David won 4 out of 5 Player of the Years for Manchester United, he's still a top goalkeeper. Yeah. He still makes phenomenal saves. And everybody makes mistakes. It's how he recovers from it. So I think Ollie will stick with him. I'm sure he'll stick with him because he's a top goalkeeper. Dean Henderson is also a very, very good goalkeeper. But I do think that he needs another season where he is, and then possibly bring him back to United and let them two fight it out.
Well, thank you so much, David, for joining us. It's been great to hear all your thoughts on everything Man United related.
It's a pleasure.
It's been great.
Thank you very much, David.
No problems, mate. No problems.
And hopefully, once the season gets going again, we can chat to you again.
Yeah, no problem. Give us a shout.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problems.
We had 2 great guests on episode 4 of Box to Box, Mark Bosnich and David May. Make sure you stay tuned. We have lots more coming up. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave some comments. We'll see you next time.